Hello everyone and welcome back. So now that we know what generative AI is, let's talk about the hottest tool in market today, which is ChatGPT. So what is ChatGPT? Let's read through the introduction and then we will understand the key details. ChatGPT is a language model developed by OpenAI. It is designed for natural language understanding and generation, specifically in a conversational context, right? And I do not want you to go too deep on the words. Let's focus on the key components of this definition that are highlighted in orange. First of all, it is what we call a large language model or LLM. And we will cover LLM in next module, but for now, remember that ChatGPT is a LLM. And what it means is it's an artificial intelligence system that is really very good with human language. Second, it is designed for natural language understanding and generation, like I mentioned. So there are newer versions of ChatGPT like GPT-4, which can generate images, but the primary area in which ChatGPT excels is natural language. It is very good in understanding what you're asking it in human language. It is very good in being able to reply to you in that language. It can understand the patterns, structure, and most importantly, the context of your question, and it generates exceptionally good answers for you. Third and last, it can handle conversational context, and what conversational context means is the background, the history of a conversation. When humans are talking to each other, we remember the background of a conversation, which scenario we are talking about, and ChatGPT can also do that, and that is again something that is remarkably well in this application. So with all of that said, why don't we go into ChatGPT and take a demo of its ability, including the conversational aspect. So here I have GPT-4, which is the paid version of this tool. And as you can see here, it also offers DALL-E, which is the image generation model. But since most of the viewers will be using a free version, I'll switch to 3.5, which we'll use to demo the capabilities. So I would go ahead and ask ChatGPT something like, how many airports are there in New York? And the first thing that I want you to notice in here is ChatGPT is trained only on content till 2021. So it may not be able to give you up-to-date information, especially if you're asking about recent events. But in my case, I am asking it about airports in New York, which is not a very recent information. These airports have been there for long. So I got good answer. It tells me that there are 3 airports, and then it also tells me that there are smaller airports, right? And the first thing that I want you to notice in here is it's generating it in a very simple text, right? It is generating it to you like a human would be telling you, right? And this ability to generate a content like this in very simple text, right, is really what sets ChatGPT apart. Now I would go ahead and ask it another different question, and this time I am going to ask it, and which one is closest to New Jersey, right? So if you notice here, I am not asking for a new information. I am asking it for something that is in relation to what I have already asked it. And when I run this question, ChatGPT will remember the context. It will remember that, okay, we were talking about these airports, and it will tell me that Newark Airport is the closest airport to New Jersey. It remembers that it had given me these 4 or 5 or 6 airports in the past, and it picks answer from that result set only. So it remembers the context, and again this is very human like. It is not telling you random things. It remembers what we were talking about and it gives you answer in that context only, just like a human would do, right? A friend would do. And as you will use GPT more, or if you have already used it, you will understand that this is a real game changer besides its accuracy. Typically guys, what have happened is machine interactions have been stateless. You ask about something, it answers it, it goes back to state 0, but that's not how ChatGPT works. That's not how we human understand things. If I am asking somebody something and then I ask another question, I expect that the other person will remember the context and answer according to it. And that is exactly what ChatGPT does. And that is why I told you earlier also, the conversational ability, the contextual ability of ChatGPT plus its higher accuracy is what really sets it apart from all the other existing tools, and that is the reason why it has been so widely accepted in such a short time. Okay, so you keep playing with ChatGPT, and if you haven't already, which I doubt, I mean all of us would have heard or used it by now, but if you haven't used it, go to its URL, which is chat.openai.com, create an account and start using it. Start asking it some questions, see the answers that you get, have some conversations, and I'm telling you for sure you will be amazed, and you will also be a little scared about how good this technology is, how good it can understand what you are asking it, how good results it can give you, and what all it can do. It can write poems for you, it can write essays, news articles, thesis paper, everything for you. Alright, so coming back to again the details of ChatGPT, there are a few things that I want you to know about. First of all, it's a generative AI application. It is generating data. It can generate human-like text. It can answer questions. It can complete sentence. It can translate language. It can perform sentiment analysis. And version 4 can even generate images. So all in all, ChatGPT is a generative AI application. Second, it is developed by a company called OpenAI. And Microsoft has a very good investment into OpenAI. That's why if you look at Microsoft application, that is where OpenAI is being used a lot commercially, whether it is Bing Search, Windows Copilot, Microsoft Teams, all of them have integrations with GPT. The initial apps, all of them that came were all from Microsoft. In fact, on the cloud side also, this capability is available only on Azure Cloud for now, which is a Microsoft platform. Third point, ChatGPT is trained on billions of documents. Just to give you an example, the current version that we saw, 3.5, OpenAI does not disclose how much data it was trained on, but the version before it, which was GPT-3, it was trained on 570 GB of text data. Now, if you have saved a text file or if you have saved a web page, you know they are mostly in lower KBs. And here we are talking about 570 GB of text data. So imagine how big of a volume it is. It has been trained on almost entire Wikipedia, entire blogs, news articles, everything text based on the internet. And if you remember what we discussed in the end note of our last video, the more the training data, the better is the chances of your application's accuracy. And that explains why ChatGPT is so good. Fourth point, it is based on generative pre-trained transformer architecture, and this is where the word GPT in ChatGPT comes for. It's a type of neural network, and we already saw in the last video what neural networks are and how good they are in handling complex cases like text generation, image generation. Fifth and last point, ChatGPT offers a web portal for end users like we just saw. And I am including it here because that again guys is a very big reason for its success. GPT-1 was created long back in 2018. It's being used by the development community in the form of APIs. But in terms of end users, nobody had heard of it. When ChatGPT came in November 2022, and it gave users a simple web interface where you go in, you type your question, you get the answer. That really was a game changer. It made lot of headlines, it got lot of attention, and it continued to offer API also, which the developers can use into their applications. And in fact, these are the APIs that we'll be using later half of the course to create our own chatbot. So ChatGPT has an implementation for regular users, a web interface. It also has an implementation for core developers like APIs. So all in all guys, I will say in a very simple way, this is a game changer application. Most important of all, it has established this belief that generative AI is the future. Whichever area, whichever technology you are working on, generative AI will make a disruption there, and we will have to embrace this technology. In fact, ChatGPT is just the beginning. Each day there are new models coming, new advancements happening. Maybe there is some new model that will come in tomorrow and replace ChatGPT as the market champion. You never know. But what will remain is the idea that we will all have to embrace generative AI in our work, whether we are a developer, tester, business analyst, sales guy, marketing, anybody. We will all have to learn about generative AI and start using it in our work. And that is what this course is going to be all about. Okay, so with that said, let's move on. Let's check out the next section of the course.